You have probably been told that getting older means you just need to be more careful. You have likely heard people say that you should watch your step, take it slow, and accept that feeling unsteady is simply a normal part of aging. I hear this every single day from people just like you, and I am here to tell you that this narrative is fundamentally flawed. You are not just aging, and you are not suddenly clumsy. You are dealing with specific, identifiable, and addressable physiological changes in your body, and you absolutely deserve to know exactly what is happening. The fear of falling is something many older adults carry quietly. You might be walking down a familiar hallway or stepping out of the shower, and suddenly the ground beneath you just does not feel as solid as it used to. Your heart skips a beat, you reach for the wall. You tell yourself to just be more careful next time. But being careful is not a strategy. Being careful is just a reaction to a system that is subtly crying out for support. I want to change how you look at your own body today. We need to shift the conversation away from fear and avoidance and move it directly toward empowerment and action. Because the truth is, your balance is not slipping away simply because you have crossed a certain age threshold. Your balance is changing because the complex biological systems that keep you upright are experiencing a communication breakdown. And the beautiful thing about the human body is that you can actually train these systems to communicate efficiently again. Let us look at the real science of what is happening inside you right now. Your ability to stay balanced relies on three major sensory systems working in perfect harmony. First, you have your visual system, which tells your brain where you are in relation to the physical world around you. Second, you have your vestibular system, which is a tiny, brilliant network located deep inside your inner ear that acts as your internal gyroscope, tracking the position and movement of your head. And third, you have your proprioceptive system, which is a network of sensory nerves in your muscles and joints, particularly in your feet and ankles, that constantly sends signals up to your brain about the texture of the ground and the position of your limbs. Research shows that as we age, these three systems naturally begin to experience a decline in sensitivity. The hair cells in your inner ear might become a little less responsive. Your depth perception might alter slightly. The nerves in your feet might not send signals with the same lightning-fast speed they once did. When these inputs become muffled, your brain has to work twice as hard to figure out where your center of gravity is, which slows down your reaction time. But here is the contrast you need to understand. While it is true that these physiological changes occur, the resulting loss of balance is not an inevitable life sentence. You do not have to just accept a life of shrinking physical boundaries. Studies confirm that with regular targeted exercise, these functional declines can actually be slowed down, and in many cases, completely reversed. The problem is not your age. The problem is that we live in a society that encourages older adults to move less precisely when they need to be moving more deliberately. When you feel unsteady, your natural instinct is to restrict your movements, to sit more, and to avoid challenging environments. This creates a vicious cycle. Fear of falling leads to physical inactivity, which accelerates muscle loss and further impairs your balance systems. You end up losing the exact functional strength and neurological sharpness you need to stay safe. We are going to break that cycle right now. We are going to treat your balance like a muscle that can be strengthened, because from a neurological and physiological standpoint, that is exactly what it is. It is a highly trainable skill. Think about it this way. If you wanted to build stronger arms, you would not just sit on the couch and hope for the best. You would pick up weights. You would create a stimulus that forces your muscles to adapt and grow stronger. Balance training works on the exact same principle, but instead of just building muscle fibers, you are rebuilding the neural pathways between your brain and your body. You are teaching your nervous system how to react quickly and appropriately to unexpected shifts in your environment. You are actively recalibrating your internal gyroscope. To do this effectively, we have to move beyond the generic advice of simply taking a daily walk. Walking is wonderful for your cardiovascular health, but it is not enough to truly challenge and improve your balance systems. You need multi-component training that specifically targets lower body strength, coordination, and reactive stability. We have to focus heavily on the muscles that actually keep you anchored to the earth. I'm talking about your glutes, your hamstrings, your quadriceps, and the often ignored stabilizing muscles around your hips and ankles. When these muscles are strong, they act like shock absorbers and powerful levers that can instantly catch you if you happen to trip. Lack of muscle strength in the lower body is one of the strongest predictors of falls, yet it is one of the easiest risk factors to completely eliminate with consistent effort. You also have to challenge your brain. Effective balance training forces your visual, vestibular, and proprioceptive systems to process complex information simultaneously. This is why exercises that narrow your base of support, like standing with one foot directly in front of the other, are so incredibly effective. When you remove the wide, stable stance you normally rely on, your brain has to scramble to keep you upright. It forces those sensory nerves in your feet to wake up. It forces your inner ear to pay strict attention to the slightest tilt of your head. Every time you wobble during a balance exercise and manage to correct yourself without grabbing a chair, you are literally rewiring your brain for better stability. You are sending a powerful signal to your nervous system that it needs to stay sharp, responsive, and ready for anything. This is not about becoming a gymnast or doing anything dangerous. It is about reclaiming your confidence in the simple, everyday movements that define your independence. It is about being able to stand up from a low chair without using your hands to push off. It is about being able to turn around quickly in the kitchen without feeling a wave of dizziness. It is about walking on uneven grass at the park with your grandchildren and trusting that your body knows exactly how to handle the terrain. You have the power to fundamentally change how your body navigates the world, and it starts with understanding that your physiology is adaptable at any age. You can rebuild your foundation. You can teach your nervous system to be resilient again. I know it can feel overwhelming to think about starting a new physical routine, especially if you have been dealing with this unsteadiness for a long time. You might be wondering if it is too late, or if the damage is already done. I want to look you directly in the eye and promise you that it is never too late to improve your balance. The human body is remarkably forgiving and deeply eager to heal itself when given the right tools and the right stimulation. The exercises and strategies we are going to discuss are safe, proven, and specifically designed for the physiological realities of the aging body. You do not need a fancy gym membership or expensive equipment. You just need a sturdy chair, a safe space in your home, and a willingness to challenge yourself a little bit more each day. This is a journey of reclaiming your physical freedom, and you do not have to do it alone. Your body is capable of profound transformation, and today is the day we start that process together. Now that we understand the physiological foundation of your balance systems, it is time to put this knowledge into practical, daily action. Think of your home as your personal training ground. You need not dedicate hours of your day to see a meaningful difference. The science of neuroplasticity tells us that frequency is far more important than duration when it comes to rewiring your brain and body for stability. 5 to 10 minutes of focused, intentional movement every single day will yield drastically better results than an hour of exhausting exercise just once a week. It is about sending a consistent, undeniable signal to your nervous system that you demand stability and strength. We start by mastering the fundamentals, and there is no movement more fundamental than the sight to stand. This is not just an exercise, it is a critical life skill. Every time you rise from a chair, you are demanding complex coordination from your core, your hips, and your legs. When this movement becomes difficult, the natural compensation is to use your arms to push off the armrests, which robs your lower body of the work it desperately needs to stay strong. I want you to practice sitting down slowly and standing up deliberately, relying entirely on the power of your legs. Feel your feet pressing firmly into the floor. Engage your core. Keep your chest tall. If you need a hand for a little guidance at first, that is perfectly fine, but your goal is to let your muscles do the heavy lifting. This single movement, practiced 10 times a day, can completely transform the functional strength of your lower body in a matter of weeks. Next, we have to challenge your base of support directly. We do this through an exercise called the tandem stance, or what I like to call the tightrope walk. Stand next to a sturdy kitchen counter so you have immediate support if you need it. Now place one foot directly in front of the other, so the heel of your front foot is gently touching the toes of your back foot. Immediately, you will feel your ankles micro-adjusting. You will feel your core engage. You might feel a little bit of a wobble, and that wobble is exactly what we are looking for. That wobble is the sound of your nervous system waking up. It is your brain actively communicating with your muscles, recalibrating your center of gravity in real time. Hold that position for 10 seconds and then switch feet. As this becomes easier, you can progress to a single leg stance, lifting one foot just an inch off the ground while keeping your hips perfectly level. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progressive challenge. But building strength and challenging your nervous system is only half of the equation. We also have to address the silent factor that dramatically increases your risk of falling, and that is your physical environment. You can have the strongest legs in the world, but if you are navigating a home filled with hidden hazards, you are still at risk. Look around your living spaces with a critical eye. Throw rugs that slide on hardwood floors are one of the most common culprits. Poor lighting in hallways or staircases forces your visual system to work in the dark, robbing your brain of crucial spatial information. Cords stretched across walkways, clutter on the stairs, and a lack of grab bars in the bathroom. These are all environmental failures, not personal failures. You deserve to feel completely safe in your own home. Take an afternoon to secure those rugs, install brighter bulbs, and clear your pathways. By controlling your environment, you free up your mental energy to focus on moving confidently, rather than constantly scanning for danger. Let us also talk about your footwear. The shoes you wear are the critical interface between your body and the ground. As we discussed earlier, the sensory nerves in your feet are vital for sending accurate information to your brain. If you are shuffling around the house in loose slippers or thick, heavily cushioned shoes, you are essentially blindfolding those nerves. You are muffling the vital signals your brain needs to keep you upright. Opt for supportive, well-fitting shoes with a firm sole that allows you to actually feel the ground beneath you. A good shoe should support your arch, secure your heel, and provide a wide enough base for your toes to splay naturally. If you have been living with the quiet fear of falling, taking these steps might feel a little intimidating. But I want you to remember what we talked about at the very beginning of this conversation. You are dealing with specific, addressable physiology. Your body is listening to you. Every time you challenge your balance, every time you choose to do that sit-to-stand exercise, every time you take steps to secure your environment, you are taking control of your physical destiny. You are proving to yourself that aging does not mean surrendering your independence. You deserve to move with absolute confidence, trusting your body. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on. I have a video coming very soon on exactly how specific nutritional deficiencies connect to the muscle weakness and nerve health, issues that drive some of the most common balance complaints. I hear from adults in this age group. You will not want to miss it. If this video gave you something genuinely useful today, would you share it with one person who has been quietly dealing with this same fear of falling? That one share costs you nothing and could genuinely shift how that person understands their own body and their own future. And before you go, tell me in the comments, which of these strategies surprised you the most? And how long have you been dealing with this unsteadiness? I read every comment. This is a real conversation, and your experience matters.